Hello, lovely patrons. Good morning. We are back today and we're going to be finishing up our little I want a hippopotamus for Christmas photo. So the very first thing looking at this right now is I want to swap the direction of the presents that she's sitting on. So I'm just going to hit Control T on this layer. I'm going to click on this layer, hit Control T. And then I'm just going to go to image, sorry, where is it? Transform. So it's edit, transform, and then flip this horizontally. And I'll just move it into place where I want it to be. So the reason I did that is because now that we've got all of our stock where I want it to be, the light direction would be probably from this door, right? So the lighting was on this side of the, and I realized that the lighting on her is incorrect, but I'm going to try and fix that just with shading and whatnot. So let's go ahead and start adding in our shadows. So there definitely needs to be some sort of shadow direction under all of this presents, under her and under the hippo. So I am going to start with that. So you have to scroll down to our background hardwood floor. And we're just going to put a layer over top of that. We're going to turn this to multiply. And we're going to right click and create a clipping mask onto our hardwood floor because we want it to only be on the floor. And we're going to rename this shadow. Oops, I spelled that incorrectly. Shadco. Shadow is what we want. Alright, so I'm going to select like this black here. It's kind of like a reddish, really dark brown. And my brush will want this to be very soft. And I'm going to make it a little bigger. And I just want the opacity to be at 5% for now. And we're just going to paint it. So if the light's coming in this way, the shadow will be kind of moving in this direction as well. And as we get further away from the door, the shadow will be a little darker as well. Okay, so now that we kind of got a base shadow in here, we are going to make our brush smaller and bump that up to 10% and just kind of paint that closer into these boxes. And clearly I still have some tidying up to do on the selection of the presents as well. Okay. You know what else would help is if, let's go back to our presents. We're going to do a color balance on here. I don't like how red they are. I'm just gonna, let's clip that color balance down to our gifts. I just don't like how red they are. I'm just gonna bring it down just a little bit. And then we want to bring brightness and contrast on here as well. Right click. And we're just going to bring the brightness down. And maybe the contrast down just a bit as well. Okay, there, that's blending in a little bit better. We may as well, before I finish doing the shadows, I should probably just clean up all the selection on these. So we're gonna go in with a fairly hard brush, about 80%, and clean up our selection. And this is gonna be fun. This is always my most hated part, just because it's kind of tedious. We need the opacity at 100. It's a little tedious just to get in all these little spaces, but in the long run it ends up working out pretty good because it looks better. I'm probably going to end up not talking too much just because I get in the zone really concentrated and quiet when I do this. And I would put music on, but sometimes I can't post them clips and stuff because it's like what's it called? Like the music is not royalty free, and so it makes it harder for me to share clips of what's going on in the Patreon. Another quick way to do this on straight lines is you click where you want to get rid of, and then you hit shift, and then click where you want it to end, and then it will make a nice straight line for you. The box looks okay. Oh, that's why it's not working. Looks okay on that side, so now I just need to clean up the base here. And I actually might soften my brush for this part. So it blends into that shadow under the box a little bit better. Because we want to keep those shadows. It looks more realistic that way. Okay, get my harder brush again because we need to fix this part. Oops. I was showing my daughter what I was working on, and she very smartly says, "You should blend the hippo in a little bit more." I'm like, I haven't even got to that part yet. She's my little critic. She always tells me what looks good and what she thinks I should fix, which is nice. It's good. I like the feedback. Because then, you know, if she's like, why is it like this? Or why does that look weird? Then I know I need to fix something. It was like when I was doing the snowman one back in last January. You know, the one with the big snowball. She's like, why is the snowman's head so big, or head so small, but his body is so big? And I was like, well, he's supposed to be kind of in the background, like up the hill a little bit. And she's like, well, it doesn't look like that. He just looks like a really fat snowman. And that made me know I had to like blur the head just a little bit more. So if you want a really honest review of your work, show it to your kids, because they will give you their full honest thoughts on what you're working on. I find that like sometimes when I ask like my family or friends, it's like they don't want to hurt your feelings or something, so they don't really give you like, they're just like, oh yeah, that's cute. They don't really like give you an honest opinion, you know? And that's why when I was in school for photography, I really liked the critique days. I mean, a lot of people don't like those, but I always really liked them because, you know, I could get honest feedback about, you know, where I needed to improve and get better. And yeah, and now that I'm like not in school anymore, I started sending my work into like, what are those called, like contests, so that I could basically use that as a way of getting feedback on how I'm doing. So if you guys are interested in getting feedback on your work and stuff, I'm thinking about doing some like live critique videos and things like that. Comment on this video if you would like to do something like that, and I can kind of review your work and give you some honest feedback. And I won't be mean, you know. CC is called constructive criticism, so it's all in good meaning, because, you know, it's all about wanting to help improve your work. I know some people are scared that post their stuff online because, you know, people can be kind of rude or very blunt and it sounds rude, you know. But always take it in a good way, because if they're commenting, I mean, I like to think that most people do that in a kind way, like they really just want you to improve. Some people maybe not. But I like to think most people do. All right, I think I'm almost done these presents. It really is tedious doing this, but it's worth it because, you know, you don't want those little lines showing around your stock and kind of ruining your photo. I like to just paint it out. But I like how, you know, the quick selection tool does a pretty close job and does pretty good. It used to be awful. Okay, so we got those presents kind of done. Let's go back to the shadow we put on the floor and go back to our soft brush at 10% and a little bigger, and I'm just gonna blend in just around the edge of all of these back here. So I'm not going to do it here because the light would maybe be touching a little bit, like just a little closer, blending it in. Maybe a little bit on this one. Okay, so that's blending in a lot better. And now we kind of need one under our hippo. So I'm going to say this is Gifts Shadow. We're going to add another one and clip that down. Call this Hippo Shadow. And I think that's kind of all. Maybe the door would need a little bit of shadow as well. But I'm going to make this light, and I'm just going to get a brush, a soft brush, but kind of large, because it would be casting, you know, a little bit of a shadow underneath it. I might go into here and just a brush, adjust the shape control, like a bit of an angle. No, that's angle jitter. I actually want to just change the angle of my brush. Is that under here? Oh yeah, that's under here. So I just want to pull there. Okay. So I'm just gonna put like a soft underneath their hippo there. And we're gonna want, I might actually put this all the way at the bottom. No, that's not gonna work. Okay, we'll go back. Okay, and I'll just make this smaller, still on 5, and I'm just going to kind of blend a bit more under the hippo here. smaller and smaller as I get closer to the hippo's feet. And I'm gonna want to put another one. Just a little underneath the street. There we go. Okay, let's go into the hippo and make some adjustments on him. Why won't my... Did I not press enter or something? Oh, okay, there we go. I don't know why my folder won't open. There we go. All right, so we want to put a hue, brightness and contrast on it. And just darken our hippo here. I think my Photoshop's lagging a little bit. So it doesn't seem to be working. No, it's not doing anything. What's going on? Okay, I think my computer may have froze. Let me save this. Just to be safe. Photoshop's being a bit weird. Maybe, oh, I see why it's doing that. I must have accidentally made a hippo copy. What the heck? Okay, well, we don't need the hippo copy. So, and I have a Santa hat copy as well. Oops. Put that in the trash. How did I accidentally do that? Weird. Okay. Anyways, I'm gonna combine these two. I'm gonna merge these layers. Or at least I want to merge the hippo and the hat. So I'm just gonna click on those two layers. And why can't I merge them now? Oh, it's because I got these ones linked. So let's unlink them for a second. Release clipping mask. Now I'm going to merge these. There we go. I'm gonna put the hippo down here. Now we're gonna clip both of these back on our hippo. There we go. Okay, so now, oh, but now the Santa hat's all subdued. We don't want that. Okay, let me just step back. Yeah, okay. Never mind. We will not combine them yet. Okay. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to clip them. Okay. So now I should be able to There, no extra layers that I didn't know about. Let's just go back into that brightness and contrast and clip that down. We're just gonna darken our hippo a little bit. And I still don't like how pink he is. So let's go back into the reds and desaturate that. What about magentas maybe a little bit? There. Okay. Hippo's a little darker. I might make him just a little bit more. Okay. I want the walls a little bit darker as well. Actually, walls, background, I want all of that darker. So I'm gonna release the clipping mask. I'm just gonna darken the background layers a little. Okay, so let's go to our hippo and we'll clean up the layer on him as well. So basically all of this white outline needs to go. Anywhere it's noticeable, I probably will leave it, I probably will leave it near the door frame because you won't be able to see it as well. I feel like I might need to clean up the shadow I just painted on him a little bit. So once I'm done this, I'll do that because I think I put it out a little too much that way. I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Only hippopotamus will do. Okay, it's not really noticeable around this door frame too much. Is that the hat? That is the hat. Okay. I'm gonna have that song stuck in my head the rest of the day, I'm sure. Okay, let's look at the hippo shadow here. I think I want to put a layer mask on it and just kind of take some of this out. Maybe I'll put it down to like 6, especially on the side of his foot. Okay, and we'll go back to the other layer, put this at 5, and I'm just gonna bring it a little closer to his feet and darken up right underneath him. Maybe I'll just bump that up a little to 10. And I'm just going to lower the hardness a little bit. Just going to bump the opacity up again slightly to 20. Oh, that's why I'm on the wrong layer. There we go. Okay, let's try that again. Sorry, I was doing that on the wrong layer. I'm like, why are you not working? Okay, so on the layer mask, I think I'm going to put this at 10. I'm just going to paint off this side here a little bit. Oh yeah, there's still a bit of a shadow there. Okay. All right, and now I'll go back to here and try to do that blending in a bit more. There we go. That's looking better. Okay, and I do think that from the wall there would be like a little of a shadow right along there, so I'm just going to soften my brush and create a shadow under the wall here. And behind the door, there would be quite a lot of shadow. Okay, boom. And there still would be a little bit under this door frame. I'm just trying to fix that angle a little bit. There we go. And on, where's the walls? Since I have that so dark, I'm just going to go make a clipping mask of this one, make this multiply, Oh. Okay, there we go. And I'm just gonna paint like a little bit of a shadow, but I'm gonna need to make my brush a bit harder around the door frame here. Oops. Let's just put this at like 2% for now. Okay, let's put this a little bit higher. I need to blend that in better. I'm just gonna go filter blur. Gaussian blur on this a little bit. There we go. Just because my paint job was pretty terrible. So there, all fixed. Okay, and on this door, we also need the hippo shadow of his body. So we're gonna make that a very light brush, or soft brush, I mean. And we're just gonna paint on our hippo's shadow on the door here. Come on, brush. B. I am having difficulty today. And as we get closer, I'm just going to make it a little darker. Oh, that means I'm gonna have to go back in and paint a little bit more around that hippo on this side, just because now you can see the line a bit better. And I'm just gonna blend that out a bit more here. There we go. And there will be a little bit, I guess there would be, would there? Yeah, there would be a little bit of a shadow on this side as well. Especially around his, we're just gonna make a little shadow under his chin there. And of course, as he gets closer, as his face is closer to the door, it will get darker right around that door frame. Yeah, I'm gonna have to clean up his mask a little bit. Okay. That's a hippo. Alright, I'm just gonna save and have a stretch. Oh, I find that I lean over way too much when I'm working. So I like to zoom out. The reason I always zoom out and then zoom back in is when you zoom out, you get kind of like, it helps you see if you have the shadows all in the right spot or not. And if it looks like it's blended very nicely. Okay. So let's clean up our hippo. And then I'll put some shadows on the hippo as well to blend him in a bit better. So we're going to put this opacity up to 100 and we want our harder brush. And I just want to go in and get this line out. there. And do I need to do around his face? No, that's pretty good. Okay, and then on this side as well. I think once I finish this hippo, or most of it, I'm gonna have to log off. And I will definitely come back next week and work on this some more live with you. And is that part of the house? Like, this little piece here keeps throwing me off. I don't know if I like that part of the house. I might just clone it out. So where's my clone stamp? Oh, it's a smart object. Okay, let's rasterize you. Or did I just do that? Okay. There we go. I think. Is that working? It is. I'm on a very low opacity. Okay, there we go. There, that's better. I did not like that little thing poking up out of his back. It looked weird. Hippo, here you are. What is going on? Could not clone stamp. Oh, pfft, duh. I want to go back to my brush. Can you all relate, guys? I hope so. Alright, Santa hat. We gotta fix your mask here. Around his ear. Look how cute this little hippo is. He's so cute. I heard they can be very vicious, though. That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true, but I heard hippos can be kind of vicious. All right, let's darken him a little bit more. Just gonna darken him up a bit more. There we go. And we're going to add our shadows layer. And this will start looking even better when I add highlights as well. So let's do highlights. Highlights layer. Highlights I usually put on an overlay and on blending mode for shadows I go multiply. Let's enter there. All right, so for the shadows for the hippo, I'm gonna select like a dark part of his skin. You see which one's the darkest. This one back here, and I'm just gonna darken it some more. It's kind of on the bluer side, hey? And we're going to, why won't you work? There you go. Put this to 5% and very soft brush again. And we're just going to, so the highlight would probably be on his back, but because he's being blocked by the door, there would be some shadow on him right here. Of course, there would be some highlight on his leg, and the front of him would be a little more shadowed on his front of his leg, or both. And then a little more shadow on this side of him. Just gonna darken his front a bit. Okay, like that. Okay, and now because there would be highlights along his back, I'm going to add those in. So I'm using a white brush on the highlight layer. And I'm just going to highlight, brighten his back a bit. Let's put this up at 10 maybe. So brighten up here, because there would be light falling on him from outside. And definitely along his leg. There would be some light falling on him there. Right in between would be brighter. And probably the top of his face as well. Just his top of his nose here. Okay. So there we've got our highlights. And you can always add another layer if you find that it's just not bright enough. And same with the shadows. If you feel like you've gotten as dark as you can on one layer, you can add multiple layers of the highlights and shadows on your photos. So I'm just gonna highlight this ear as well here. And again, his back. Okay. Let me just zoom in here and just see how that's... So because I highlighted this part, that white is really starting to show up. So I'll go back on his layer and paint that out. Okay, there we go. Okay. That's looking way more blended. Do you think my daughter would approve so far? Because I'm sure so that's what it started at. This is what she saw it at. And there, that's a little more blended, I think. All right, once we get working on, you know, the walls and everything else, it's gonna look really cute, I think. Okay, there's one thing I want to do before I log off. I just want to add the highlights to the door frame as well. So we'll do highlights on this and call this overlay, and using a white brush, I'm gonna add some highlights on the door. Oops. And we want it to be only at like 10 because 100 is going to be way too much. And a soft brush. Okay, so there'll definitely be highlights above here. And maybe even like kind of shining on the front of this door like that. And darker at the bottom. And same with up on this door frame. There would be a little bit of highlights around the door frame. You know what? I'm going to go into my history and I might just step back a bit on the brush at the top. I don't really like how it's looking, so okay, I'm going to use I'm going to put this down to 5, and I'm going to use a very soft brush, and I'm just going to lighten this up a little at the top. Okay. And get smaller and get in there a bit better on this. And down here. Okay, and if I think that's a little too much, I can always like lower the opacity a little bit. Yeah, I like that. Okay, floor. I'm just gonna add brightness and contrast on that, and I might just darken the floor slightly as well. And one more thing, I always do this. One more thing. With the foreground gifts, I'm gonna do a brightness and contrast on that one. Oh, what did I just do? I just flattened that. Whoops. There we go. Clipping mask, not flatten. What am I doing? I'm losing my mind today. I put, what did I put? A brightness and contrast on the floor. Yes. Okay. Now I want to just really darken these gifts because they're so close to the front. I don't want them like taking away from the rest of the photo, if that makes sense. And I think I might move the green gift. Oops. I just might move it around a bit. Like maybe, do I want to lower it? Or make it smaller? I don't know. It just doesn't look quite right. Control Z on that one. I'll just leave it how I had it. And I'm going to make the Gaussian blur a bit bigger on both of these. Maybe not that big. Okay. And Gaussian blur on this one. It's going to be pretty high because it's like supposed to be really close to the front. All right, and I might add another brightness, sorry, on this one as well. Just create clipping mask just on this one because it is a little bit closer to us again. All right, so let's go to our history. I'm going to take a picture. So this is where we started at today. This is where we're ending at today. So it's definitely an improvement. We got more work to go, but everything's starting to blend more in. So that's exciting. Okay, I'm going to save this. File, save. Save it. God, I really am. I'm losing my mind today. But it's been fun. I'm glad that I could make it today and edit with you guys. And I will be back probably Wednesday next week. Again, or sorry, Tuesday next week. I will be able to come back and work on this some more. So I will see you on Tuesday. Thanks for being here. Bye.